page, I think we're good. At least I'm hoping we are. So, hello everyone, this is Chris Ingerson, and it is April 29th. This is the April 29th TextQuest Devstream. So, today it's Saturday, so we're going to be doing more custom game content stuff. Specifically, we're going to be tackling a lot of the connection behavior, so drawing arrows between rooms and whatnot. I would like to get color customization working so that you can adjust their colors. And I still haven't fixed, sort of give you a sense of where we are, I haven't had time to fix the odd angle bug that we've had. So if I go ahead and make two connections between two rooms, call them test 1 and test 2, close this, let's add an exit going to test 2, close that out. So currently this works, one connection going one way. But if we add another connection going the reverse direction, we get sort of the correct expected behavior, and then we get oddity on horizontal settings. Though I think we might actually be able to fix that. I took a look at the code again before the stream started today, and I think it's just how I'm rotating the angle. So if I just fix that, I think we'll actually be in a pretty good spot. But yeah, the main goal of today is going to be a lot of this connection behavior. And you might notice that I added a little tiny spot over here on the left of our exits. That is the color button, and right now it does nothing, but hopefully by the end of the stream today we're going to have a color menu that you can click on. This tiny button here, the slider will come up and you can sort of adjust what color you want it to be. And then once you're done with that, the actual arrow will update its color to match. So again, that's just going back to organizational purposes, so that you can try to color code your connections. That way it's a little bit easier to say, like, these are the forest connections, these are the volcano connections, what have you. Alright, so that's a sort of brief overview of where we are right now. Let's look at our code real quick. I started implementing the color clicked stuff, but we might, real quick, I'm actually curious if we can fix this rotation problem really quickly, because I think we can, and this is the point that I have that's kind of the error. I feel like the connection point is just not getting generated properly. So I might do a little quick debug here. Oh, actually, you know what? I do have connection point being debugged. So let's do a quick debug, get some of that stuff out. And that's where it was. I should have looked at it before we played. Oh well. So we'll have test room 1. Alright, then we'll have test room 2. Room 2. Save this out. Add an exit from test room 1 to test room 2. And then vice versa. Alright. So let's see here. Can I come in here and click on this? That'll be much faster. Ah, fine, be that way. It's just not going to do it. So we'll come down here to connections area, select a connection. So multi-connection distance, I think, actually is something that's going to eventually end up changing. Right now it's scaled to be 0.4, which just means that it's going to try to space any multiple connections that it has with a normalized offset of 0.4 from the center, which is actually pretty far, and that's why the arrows are basically at the ends of the nodes here. So let's go ahead and come back here. So we have our debug logs coming out. So it's 0.5, 0.5 to 0. Oh, that's out of date. Let's go ahead and clear that and do this. All right. So we're talking 0.5, 0.9 to 0.1, 0.7. I'm not entirely sure which node that actually is coming off of, which is, great. But let's take a look at this. We're at 0.5, 0.1. So it's trying to do it from the center to the top, whereas here it's doing it. Okay, it's it's kind of rotating in a way that you would expect. Let's take a look at what we're doing here. So we have our connection point, the new connection, which is the offset value, basically. The index lerp, and the connection count. That's just, yeah, that's not too bad. That's just saying which connection it is. Okay. So 0.5, 0.1 would be down here, I believe, while 0.5, 0.9 would be up here. And then they both get smashed to 0.5, 0.9. And then I'm assuming if we reverse this, they'll get smashed to 0.5, 0.1. Yep. Okay. So it is, I think, just a matter of how I'm rotating these. So new connection is the problem. And actually, hold on. So they go from 0.5. Yeah, okay. So rotate vector 2 around point angle. Oh, wait, hold on. I think I want to do this above that. Maybe. I might have actually tried this already last week, but we'll see. Because I know that when I'm making these connections, I have to flip the rotation of the arrow, basically, depending on which node it's being drawn from. Let's go ahead and clear that stuff, hit play, test this out again. Alright, new room, test 1. Close that out, drag it. Test 2. Close that. Add an exit from test 1 to test 2. Add an exit from test 2 to test 1. Right, yeah, so I just flipped them. Because of course it did. Which actually, okay. Let me grab this, move this back to where it was, and maybe this angle is. Hold on, let me think. So 0.5, then lerping between. Okay, yeah, that's not that bad. Okay. So I think the system's actually going to need to have a bit of an overhaul anyway, because I would like to support, say, 3 connections per room, and right now we had started to hard code it for 2. So basically, we weren't trying to account for multiple ones, but it's kind of stupid to force it to be 2 and then have to rewrite it later anyway, knowing that I'm going to have to rewrite it. So I'm going to grab this room node here, and this is going to be interesting. So we have an index lerp, which is basically saying however many connections these 2 rooms have. But, well, actually, hold on. That actually is not too bad. I kind of wonder if we... No. Just kind of like trying to map everything out in my head. No, that should be fine. Okay. So we're getting the connection count, the amount of connections that 2 nodes share through our game session. because it can, keep track of all of this stuff, and it can, conveniently spit out an actual number. The index lerp, though, is, connection index is a hard index, which I guess that number can never really get shuffled around, can it? Because that connection index is only really a thing when you have multiple connections going between two different nodes. Okay. So what am I doing wrong here then? Base room.anchored position minus target room.anchored position. The normalized value of that from vector 2.right. That's fair. The connection point is equal to 0.5, and then 0.5 minus multi-connection distance. 0.5 f. Oh yeah. I do think I'm going to go ahead and change this value. So we're going to say float multi-connection spacing, I guess. No, freak. We'll just call it connection spacing. Connection spacing is equal to float connection count. It's just going to be 1f divided by that. Basically, it's, just going to say, okay, if I have one connection, it's going to be 1 divided by 1, therefore 1. If I have two connections, that's going to be 0.5. Although this is actually going to be interesting. So to get this to be accurate, I think I'm going to have to subtract half of the actual value of connection spacing from itself to make sure that all of the offsets are correct, if that makes sense. Mostly because, so for example, this connection spacing is basically going to give us our, I guess our Y value here, which is a little odd. I'm not entirely sure why I'm doing it as a Y value. But, does that mean I even need index lerp? I guess I do. But basically, 1 divided by 1 is 1, which means that our connection spacing would try to place the anchor at 1, but you would want it to actually be in the center if it's, only got one connection. So I'd have to subtract 0.5 from 1 to get 0.5, which is in the center. If I have two connections, then 1 divided by 2 is 0.5, but I don't actually want things to be placed at 0.5 or 0.5 minus 0.5 and plus 0.5, because those are the actual ends of it. I would probably want it to be sort of like at the 2 quarter points. So this is fun. So we're going to say connection spacing minus equals connection spacing divided by 2f. And then this is going to be connection spacing, I believe. Don't need the index lerp there anymore. So let's see. Oh, no. No. Okay, hold on. Yeah, so that is something that's I do need the index lerp for. The index lerp is going to tell me which point I am, basically. So connection index, I suppose, would be the thing that I actually want. Okay. Let me think. We're going to want to say 0, so it'd be connection spacing times index lerp, I think. Right? Yes. Times connection index, actually. We'll go ahead and do a float conversion so that it... What the freak is my shift key stuck? All right. That's a Android. Yep. Okay, so I don't need index lerp anymore, really. Will that work? Connection spacing is 0.5. Connection index is 0. It would be times 0, so we don't actually want to do that. I think we want to say... I think we want to do this. So we want to do the connection spacing divided by 2 plus connection spacing times our connection index. And I'm curious if that's going to give us the expected value. We'll find out. Let's test it. While that compiles, I'm going to get a drink. Okay, so I'm very hopeful this will at least do something interesting. Test 1, test 2, close that out, add an exit to test 2, add an exit to test 1, close. Yep. So that's about what I was hoping it would be. Nice. And out of curiosity, although strangely enough, the left arrow is coming from test 2 to test 1, and that, I would assume that the left one would actually be the first one in the list, which should have been the connection from test 1 to test 2. That's kind of odd. Either way, let's try adding another exit from test 2 to test 1. Let's make it like east or something, and oh, dang. Wait, really? It just didn't add it. Why not? Hold on, something's changing because my hierarchy is moving. Why? What is happening here? Oh, I guess there's a blocker whenever I click this open. Huh. I wonder why I can't make a third connection. I must have some sort of safety check in place that's preventing me. Close that. The arrows are following each other. Yeah, I know they sort of do this nasty overlay. We're trying to fix that. But they should be dynamically positioning themselves now, so no matter how many connections you have, they'll constantly try to space themselves. But we'll see how well that ends up working. So, let's try to fix this real quick. This offset stuff, now that our actual connection points are dynamic, which is very nice. Let's come up all the way up here. Am I using you anywhere now? Nope. Okay, we're going to delete you. And we can get rid of that line, that's correct. So this is the, oh, by the way, welcome back to Stream 18, Markwick. So this rotate vector 2 around point is the problem. I don't know why. So the math here should be correct. If we do peak definition, at least I would think it was correct. It looks right. So the math should be correct, but the problem is I don't think I'm giving it the right value, which is usually what happens when you get these odd, like, sort of right, but not right positioning. So, let's see. What do I need to do? Let's try... let's try moving this to connection point. Oh, wait, no, that's what connection point is doing. or rotating connection point. Eh. Well. Hmm. Well, hold on. Connection point is 0.5, 0.8. Yeah, I guess we would want to rotate that around 0.5, 0.5. But, well, do we want it to be 0.5, 0.5, or do we want it to be 0? I do think we want it to be 0.5, 0.5, but we'll see what this looks like. Yes, I know. There are errors whenever you have to recompile while it's running. Alright, let's try this again. Fun thing is, once we fix this, it's going to be like some terribly innocuous change. Like, it's probably just going to be the center value that I'm passing for the rotation. So there's going to be test 1. Close that. Test 2. Close that. Make a connection from test 1 to test 2. Did I call it text? I called it text. Shite. Okay, so yeah, nope. It is not it's not 0. So it is 0.5, 0.5. Or should it be connection point? Because I kind of think it should be connection point. But let's find out. I'm just curious to see what it does. But then again, I feel like that's going to be connection point rotating around itself, so it's probably not going to actually work. All right. Let's try this. Test 2. Sure, why not? Sure. Reference to both of these. Oh! Ah, dang it. So close. Except we're not. We just shifted it. Dang it. False hope. That is very annoying. So 0.5 to 0.3. Huh. But why is it in the center? Okay. Let me see that. So it does need to be around the center, but This new connection stuff should not be this difficult. Let me think about it real quick. So our problem is that when we rotate the connection point, which again is just the offset from the center, we have to rotate it so that the arrows always, have spacing between them and will always point to the correct spots. If we don't try to rotate it, then when you do horizontal lineups or vertical lineups, one of those is going to be completely borked. So we're trying to avoid that. Obviously, we're not doing a very good job of it right now, but we're getting there, I think. So rotate vector 2 around point. Point 0.5, 0.5. So we want it to rotate around the center. But the problem is that it's not. Connection index, I think, is a private value, right? It's public, apparently. Okay. Let's check what the connections think that their connection index is. I'm curious if they both think that they're 1 or 0. Gotta love custom content maps. It's like, yes, these things are terrible to develop, but it'll be fun because people will actually be able to make their own things. So pain and suffering on my end is not that important. Okay, so we're going to close this and exit. We'll go to the regular test. All right. So, oh, that's interesting. It feels correct on the bottom where the arrows are pointing, but on the top it feels kind of cramped. Like it's moving further away. Huh. That's interesting. I'm actually curious. Hold on. I'm gonna make this T. Oh dear. Yep. Okay, that's great. Crap. So, these connections are... They're using one of the nodes to basically determine what their layout should be. That might explain why it's doing this weird behavior when they're horizontally lined up. Because you can see that these are obviously not pointing to anything on this room node the size of the letter T. That's not great. So that's a fun little can of worms that we gotta figure out. Especially because that adds a lot of complexity to how the rotation should be handled. Because now the rotation isn't as simple as what's the angle between these two nodes, it's the angle between these two nodes and then the angle between the connection points. Oy. Okay. Yay. Okay. Well, either way, that's not a huge issue right now. I'm not particularly worried about it. Let's just take a look at our connections and see what they think they are. Okay, so they don't have the same index, which is good. And their base and target room IDs flip, which makes sense. That's good. And yet it still doesn't want to do horizontal angles. Rotate vector 2 over 1 point. It's going to be something so tiny, insignificant. Or, let's keep rotating and rotating and rotating. All right. 0.5, 0.3. Ah, excuse me. And then 0.5, 0.8. Is that because of the angle? I feel like when I rotate it with the angle, it just kind of gets nutty. But I guess that doesn't actually make sense. Excuse me. New connection. Blarg. Not the biggest fan of trying to figure out very simple math that I just can't seem to plug in the right value to. I have to be doing something really stupid. Why would you rotate? So we're going to get vector minus equal rotation point. Angle times equal. So we convert it to radians. Do our sine, cosine stuff. Do we even use this vector? We do. Should I actually rotate it like Subtract road point? I don't know. That feels kind of odd. No, I guess that's not. Well, see, it's weird that I would subtract it. Because the idea would be that you would want to subtract basically to the center so that you would be as far, or as close to the origin, 0, 0, as possible. Hold on, let me think about my math real quick. I don't actually think I want to do that here. Because that's not the origin, it's the point I'm rotating around. So let me try turning that off. Saving this, and let's see what happens. Besides Unity complaining that the compiler is out of date. Alright. Shazam. Now watch it just be completely crazy numbers. These are all very descriptive names. Ah, come on, really? Can't win. Just can't win. So it has to be. Yep. I guess I have to do that. Fine. It's just, it's very frustrating. It means I'm doing something just not quite right. What is really fun about doing math? So I just realized that my mouse is very dirty. Let's see here. What other value could I be needing to actually get this to function? I don't know. I'm about like 2 minutes away from just saying screw it and moving on to color. But I know that I really want to solve this. Let's see here. So rotate vector 2 around point. We want to rotate it around 0.5, 0.5 because that's the center. And the connection point that's being generated is accurate in terms of the normalized values. It just seems like sometimes it doesn't make sense how it's rotating like that. Do I clamp it? No, that's not what I meant to do. Here we go. I don't actually know if I am. Okay. Let's take a look at that real quick. I have a clamp. I have a wrap angle. I have a clamp angle. Surely I do. I do not. That's weird. Static, clamp angle, float angle. We're just going to say while angle is greater than 360F. Forgot my parens. Angle minus equal 360F. While angle is less than 0F. Why do I keep forgetting my first parens? Angle plus equal 360F. Return angle. No, forgot my float. There we go. Alright, so we're going to come back down here, and we're going to say angle equals clamp angle. I doubt that's actually going to matter, but still, you know, what could it hurt? Because I'm kind of wondering if just the angle that I've been feeding it is crazy. I thought I was actually debugging the angle, but I don't see it. Probably should do that. Let's replace this with angle. Alright. And then let's take a drink. Alright. So that's correct. That's good. Okay. So, yeah, that didn't do anything. But we can at least see our angles now. They are not the same, but they are close in the sense that they seem to be sort of inversions of 180 degrees. Do we ever go above 180? No. We go to 180 and then start going back down. Huh. Okay. Okay. I think I might know why our problem is coming up then. We're clamped to be a value between negative 180 and 180, I think. So, basically, that means that our, excuse me, means that we can't get a full accurate rotation. So this vector 2 angle situation won't really work, which is very disappointing. So I'm not going to worry about that then. So that might mean that we just need to refactor how we're grabbing this angle value. So let's just move on to color. It's a little bit easier. At least I hope. Alright. So let's put a to do in here so I don't forget to do. Angle is clamped between negative 180 and 180. So cannot retrieve. Yeah, that's right. Accurate. Is it IE or EI? I think it's IE for retrieve. Rotation. Alright. In any case, go ahead and let that load. And do I have a game modal? Compile. Compile, damn you. I need you to compile. Shazam. Aha. Okay. So I do have a game modal. I wonder what I'm using it for. I don't remember. I know that we set it up, but either way. So one of the things that we need to do for these connections when we actually make them is we need to have the game modal pop up when you are going to delete one. So to show you what I mean. So we can add a connection here, but if I want to delete it, it should just, it shouldn't just go away. It should actually pull up the game modal and say, are you sure you want to delete blah, blah, blah. Okay. Oh yeah, and then it actually should, delete it, but we'll get to that in a second. So, let's take a look at our UI. Do I have a game modal? I do. Hooray. Okay. So, let's come over here to room node. I think it's room exit node that we want. All right. Private void on confirm delete. paste this in here. And then we're going to say UI dot open modal. I don't really have, I think, anything that derives specifically from game modal. Alright, so the message is going to be format. Then the callback is going to be on confirm delete. I think we're good there. Oh, except actually I need to give it options, don't I? Okay. Title is going to be delete connection. And then our options will be yes and no. Alright, this is going to be a string value. If value is equal to yes, no, we'll just do this. Ta-da! Alright, and the actual thing we're going to be formatting is delete connection between 0 and 1 question mark, and that will be, let's see here, target ID. Oh, hold on. Ay, 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 ay. Crap. If info does not equal null, direction drop down, blah, 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 blah. Do I actually set this up? Oh, no. Okay. Maybe I should just do this instead. 0. Not delete. It would actually say delete connection, or delete exit to that. And then the format that we're going to use is going to be okay. Global.get custom game author session dot get room ID, right? You know what? Actually, I don't even think I need to do it to do that. I think I can just say target dropdown dot value. I think, or target dropdown dot whatever. Let's see. So target dropdown dot options of target dropdown dot value. I can't type today. Dot value, and then dot text, right? Yes. Okay. So let's let that compile. We should be able to actually have a modal pop up now. Okay, go ahead and save this. Do a new room. Name it whatever. Name this whatever. Connection. Okay, it's there. Delete exit to no. Okay, nothing happens. Yes, and then boom, it's gone. Obviously not really, but you know, hey, whatever. Small steps. So it's functional. That's good. Same thing there. Okay. So next, let's get the actual delete event firing and cleaning up that connection. So, final references for this. On exit delete, go to definition. Okay. So now I need to actually remove connection. On new exit, click. Exit nodes, initialize. On exit, edit, go to definition. Where are you actually being used? Let's go over here. Connection prefab, find all references. Generate connections. And connections this. So if get connection rooms ID or rooms of I dot room ID exits blah blah blah. So that means the connection already exists. Else, how do we want to do this? Okay. So this is where it gets kind of annoying, because we need to basically, when we delete a connection, we have to tell custom game map view to delete a connection between two nodes that is a specific index, because we don't want it to just say delete the connection between these two nodes, because there could be multiple connections. So we actually do need to do, we need to pass an int, and I think I'm going to, let's see, recycle connections. I'm going to add a new function here. Is this private? Oh, shite. Of course it is. So we're going to do this, and we're going to say public void delete connection int base ID, int target ID, and then int index. All right, so we're going to say, and also we probably should do this. Find all references. Crap. So get connection is actually not going to be doing an accurate job either, because get connection will always return the first connection probably between two rooms. And I know that it's passing a base ID and a target ID, which means that you're not going to get, if you have two rooms, each with one exit going to the other, then it won't get confused. But if you have, let's say, going north and going east in a specific room, will have you go to the same room even though you went in two different directions. If that was the case, then we couldn't do this, basically. This would not give us anything accurate that we could work with. So, so get connection actually also needs to pass its connection ID. Great. Or its connection index. Wonderful. 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 Let's see here. So where were we using you? Right. Jeez. Let me think. Let's look at room exit info. Not info. So direction and target are the obvious ones, but I might actually need to have a connection index, which is great. Particularly because that connection index is going to have to update if you delete an earlier connection index. Woohoo! Jeez. Okay. Let me think. Let me think. Okay. So we're going to say public int connection index is equal to 0. I'm going to come over here, go to definition. I'm going to have to add this stuff. Say exit index. Come back here. I'm going to say connection index is equal to json.getIntValue custom content utility dot exit index. Okay. And then the same thing down here. So json.add custom content utility dot exit index, and then connection index, which apparently didn't want to go through. Connection index. All right. And I guess I don't need to use any Unity engine in here, which is surprising, but nice. Okay. So we're going to come back over here to custom content utility. Right here. Where are we? Let's see where we're going to generate this stuff anyway. References, room info, exit.add, custom room view. Here we are. On new exit clicked. Crap. Alright. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to go down here, go to definition. I'm going to have a public room exit info with an int target. This dot target is equal to target. This dot direction is equal to I guess north, and then this connection index is equal to 0 semicolon, not comma. Do I want to actually pass in a potential connection index? I might. So let's actually do int index equal to, screw it, we'll just do that, and then index. Alright, so let's come back over here to our room connection. Or, God, where was it actually done? Custom room view, okay. So this now, instead of passing an empty constructor, it's going to pass, it's this room's ID, which is not actually immediately apparent, is it? No, yeah, we can do room info. Room info.id. Okay, so that passes it an int. And I guess crap. We have to do that whole thing, don't we? So we're gonna have to say global.get custom game author session dot get connection count between. Oh wait, that's not gonna work because I still don't know what my original ID is. That's oh no, that's roominfo.a. Okay, never mind. So we're gonna do this. Connection between the room and itself. Basically, what this has changed it so that instead of exits spawning with no information whatsoever, they're going to spawn looping or exiting to the same room, and then their index will be basically however many times that has happened so far. So that's pretty nice. Yeah. And I'm gonna blow my nose real quick. So, timeout. Sorry about that. All right. So now, whenever we exit, or whenever we edit the exit, target is going to be, okay. Okay. I think this is fine still. We're just going to have to basically keep doing this though. So I'll have to say room info dot exits index dot connection index is equal to this, but instead of the targeting the same one, it's going to be node dot target ID. All right. So now that we have that, we can come back over here to, where are you? Here we are. Go to definition. Get connection. Hello, Apollo I. Welcome to the Devstream. We are currently doing custom game content stuff, particularly a map, and I'm trying to get connections to look nice and behave well. So we're looking for get connection, which is now no longer just going to pass the base ID and the target ID, but it's also going to pass the actual connection int or index. So int connection index. All right. So let's go back here. I have to add another comma here, so we'll say rooms of I dot exits of j. Why do I keep hitting slash? Dot connection index. All right. So that should help with that. Well, I'm sure that there are not. Well, actually, I don't know. I haven't really searched the Twitch streams to see who's making text-based games, but I am doing so, and we are currently working on a custom game sort of suite so that you can make your own custom text-based adventures within the game. Anyway, we did all of that, and we haven't actually changed functionality yet. So now that we have that connection index, what were we going to do with it? Oh, God, I went off on a tangent and I forgot what it was. Oh, well, that's kind of embarrassing. Oh, right, we need it for deleting the exit, cleaning it up. So now we can come back to our custom room view, and on exit delete, we can say, let's go back to our custom game map view, and then way up here at the top, we're going to have a delete connection that's going to take our index. Okay, so this is what we were setting up for. Yeah. Are you doing your own, are you streaming your own development on a text-based game? Let's see here. And yeah, I mean, I'm not one of the bigger Twitch channels, so I'm not surprised at all that you didn't find me. Although I have been doing it for a while. I think that would count for something, but apparently not. Want to see how popular it is to stream? I think it's entirely dependent on your personality as a streamer and the content that you happen to be streaming. I always feel kind of bad because I feel like a lot of my content is not as visually stimulating as a lot of other, dev streams that are going on. I try my best, but there's only so much you can do. Especially when I work a full-time job, so I can't get like huge swaths of cool development done in between streams. But anyway, delete connection. So with this, we're actually going to want to do a get connection and then recycle it. So we're going to say room connection equals get connection base ID, target ID, and index. Okay. We'll say if connection does not equal null, then we will call connection.deinitialize. And do I need to do anything else? Let me take a look at my recycle connections. Nope, not really. So we'll just remove it from the list. Oh, I probably should call connections.deinitialize here. Connections. Oh, come on. Vi.deinitialize. Alright. Come all the way back up here. And then we will say connections.remove connection. And then pool manager.recycle connection.gameObject. Alright. So this hopefully should actually clean up the connection when we delete it. Public alpha launch today, so most of the dev is done. Oh, nice. If you want, feel free to post a link. I'd like to check that out actually. And thank you. I'm happy that someone likes my voice because I hate it. Although I will admit, it's hard for me to believe that right now because I feel pretty bad today. I drank a little bit too much last night. I kind of don't sound the best. I feel like my voice is a little hoarse. But what are you gonna do? Gotta stay hydrated. All right, let's go ahead test this out. Okay. All right. So let's add a exit. Okay, so that's correct, and then let's delete it. Delete it, yes. Close. Oh, wait. I set up the function, but I didn't actually make a call to it. So I want custom room view. And down here, I want to say UI.get custom game, can't spell, game map view dot delete connection. And okay, this is going to be fun. I think I want to say room info dot ID, then node dot target ID, and finally crap, I have to pass it that index, which is not great. I doubt the node has that. Great, so I need to, oh dang it, I don't have a good way of retrieving that number from the node. So I'm going to have to move this up above the actual recycling for the node, so I got to do it probably about like here. But that means that our room exit node needs to have a reference for that stuff. That's disappointing. Actually, hold on. Alright, so I can do this basically. Not ideal, but it'll work. Let's put that above it. Textspaced.com. Alright, while that's loading up. Let me go ahead. Oh, you got a fancy website. That's a lot more effort than I put onto my website. Text-based sci-fi MMO within Facebook Messenger. Cool. I'll check this out after the stream. Assuming I can. I don't actually use Facebook, so that might put a bit of a hamper on things. Yeah, I'm as far as accents goes. Technically, I am Midwest, which means I'm neutral English. I technically don't have an accent. That's not actually true, but I do always like to say that because technically Midwestern English is considered neutral American English, which is why most news anchors will try to have that sort of tone in dialect. Anyway, So we're going to get our index, and then from that, we're basically going to do what we did here with on exit edit, where we will retrieve our connection index. So we'll do this, and that means that we can do this, and then we will see if this works. Semicolon. All right. Okay. Well then, yeah, I will totally give that a try. It's easy for an English person to hear, though. Yeah. That's true. Again, that's the nice thing about being sort of middle of the road English in terms of dialect is I think most people can understand me as long as I enunciate correctly, which admittedly sometimes is a problem. Well, if you don't mind me asking, since you're entering the alpha phase of your game, and obviously I haven't tried it yet, what's the setup for your game? Like, what do you do? Is it just sort of, is it a MUD? Is it, I'm trying to think of what you would call some of the other text-based mechanics that I've actually seen. Because I've seen like weird chat games, I've seen parser-based games, I've seen like Caves of Cud style, where there's a lot of text and ASCII art and all that. Alright, anyway. So let's add our connection. Okay, let's delete it. Didn't do anything. That means I'm going to put a debug in here. Okay. So let's see here. Let's see debug.log. Probably do a string.format. Trying to delete 0, 1, and then 2. So base ID, target ID, and then index. Okay. And then let's put a debug.log, not lof, log. And then test. So if we see test, that means that it should have gone through. So hopefully we'll at least, actually I kind of hope we don't see that, because then at least it means that I was doing something stupid with how I was getting the connections. But, good question. I'm not sure what it fits into. Essentially, there are always quick options. The text is sometimes supplemented with art and video for special things. Okay. So let's try this. Test. Add an exit to that. Alright. And let's go ahead and take a look at this. Yes. So that's interesting. It came back. It came. Okay, hold on. Hold on. It came back. That's not great. Oh, and also my rotation is borked. That's not annoying at all. Huh. Wait, 2? Why is it 2? It should not have a connection count of 2. That should be physically impossible. Oh, crap. I know why. It's because it's looking for both. Wait, no, that doesn't make sense. Room connections of origin IDs. Yeah, no, never mind. I was gonna say it's gonna catch basically both the base ID and the target ID in both orders. So that would mean if you had one connection, it would return 2. But it's looping through room connections, and it should not actually do that. Although, actually, that could be because I deleted it, and then it came back. Which means that when we delete things, it's not quite doing what it should. What do you mean the compiler was... I haven't changed anything yet. Why are you mad at me? Um, It's one big universe, so like mud, I guess. More traditional mud framework or spin-off version though, so this could be useful. Yeah. Well, yeah, I do. By the way, I apologize that you happened to stop by looking for text adventure stuff, because I mean, this is a text-based adventure game, but Saturdays are the custom content stuff, and I do surprisingly little text-based adventuring in it yet, just because I'm still setting up all the UI and stuff. Um, hmm. So let me see if I was right. I'm going to make a connection, and then we'll see if it looks right. Okay. So that looks right, and it's 1, 1. Now let's delete it. All right. Now it's 2. Okay. So it's a combination of... I bet it's our save state, actually, now that I think about it. I bet it is our save state. So let's come over here to custom game map view, delete, and before we do anything else, I think we're going to do custom game author session. Yep. This is just sort of the overarching logic controller. Okay. Well, while I'm doing this, so you made your game with or work inside of Facebook Messenger. What do you have to do that? I've avoided a lot of Facebook stuff over the past couple of years, so I'm curious if you had a framework that you worked from, or was there was everything done from like scratch in C or C# or something? Or does Facebook have its own API that you could hook into? I can believe that being a thing. Anyway, let's come down here to custom room view. Let's go to autosave, go to definition, get room exits, okay, and finally, let's go to the map view. Let's look up generate hold on. Where's generate connections? Ah, here we are. So yes, this. No. Why is my room info not actually correct? Because I think what's happening is that it's coming down. It's basically saving, regenerating the entire map, and then when it gets to these connections, it's seeing that it has a connection and tries to add it again. But that should not be the case. Okay. So let me check out here. Exits equals room info dot exits. Do I actually remove it when I delete it? On exit edit. No. No, I don't. Okay, that's why. So that means that we have to say Okay. So we have to say room info, lowercase r, room info dot exits. So I need an index. Would I think index might actually work here as well. Exits of index. So actually, I guess I would just say dot remove. Dot remove at index. Okay, I think that might fix it. Just use their APIs. Really simple. Now it's all in PHP. Okay, that's not too bad. Um, that's certainly a lot better than having to develop your own app in, say, like Objective-C. That would suck. All right, let's do test 2, 1, test 6. Do our connection. All right, delete. Yes. Yes! Success! And now for the other moment of truth, let's add another exit, another connection, and it's offset. Dang it. Very close. So we're halfway there. Not quite doing what I wanted, but we're halfway there. Let's see. So why would that not be correct? So if we go to, no, not find all references, go to definition. Oh my, come on. There we go. So we're setting the exits in that room info ID to be the current room info's exits. But it must still think that it has. Okay, hold on. So let's go over here, go to definition, get connection count in room connections. Is this just a list? This is just a list. Crap. So I need to remove it from here too. Wonderful. Just went for strict object semantic class model that actually ties to the games. Easy to work with. Okay. Yeah, I would think that Facebook would have fairly intuitive SDKs basically, or integrations with a lot of their stuff. Mostly because obviously it's good for them if developers want to work with their platform. So the easier they make that, the more people are going to do it. Okay, so let's go back to our custom game map view. And then up here on delete node, or delete connection, we can get rid of these debugs because I know what's happening. That means that I'm going to have to find a way to remove them from the custom game author session. So let me find out where I'm adding these things. Okay, so we're adding connection. What's in room connection info? Okay. Oh, hold on. Let's find all references to this. Okay. Connection index. Okay, hold on. Peak definition here. I might have had. Right. Okay. That's actually kind of pointless now, right? Because I think I can just do this. Rooms of I dot exits of J dot connection index. Yeah, so I can just do that. Well, that's certainly easier. That simplified a lot of my stuff, actually. Ba-boom. All right. Okay. Let's come up here. And that means that we need to have a public void delete connection. And we're going to have to do int base ID, int target ID, and then int connection index. All right. And then we'll say for int I equals 0, I is less than room connections dot count I plus plus, and then we'll just say if room connections of I dot origin ID is equal to base ID, and room connections of I dot target ID is equal to target ID and room connections. Oh, hold on. Room connections of I dot connection. Oh, I guess it's just an index. Index is equal to connection index. If all of that is true, then we will break out and we will say room connections dot remove at I. Okay, simple as that. That should take care of it all. Meant I could do nice stuff like user ownership hold metal get total. Nice. Yeah, it's always nice when you have a system that you feel good about using. Because I've definitely had a few in the past where just because of mostly because of inexperience. Usually it's not the tooling or the language, but I design a system that is just completely a pain to program with. So it's nice that you have something set up that made it really intuitive to use. Okay, so once we have this, we're going to do custom view back up here, and we'll go ahead and do this. So we're going to say global.get custom game author session dot delete connection base ID target ID index. Okay, so let's see if this fixes it. Yeah, I I always have the tendency to say that it's future Chris's problem whenever I'm working on something. Um, and then of course inevitably when I come or when I revisit something in the future, I always say that past Chris was an idiot or past Chris was an idiot, which is true, obviously, because I was very stupid a long time ago, and 5 seconds ago basically, but it's all in good fun. Oh, right, I forgot. There we go. Can't really have it pointing to something if it's pointing to itself. Okay, so let's delete it. Yes, close, good. Add another exit, and yes! Got it working. Nice. So we have connection. So we have connection deleting. Oh wow, that is a really awkward screen tear. You can see that jagged spike going up. Makes it look more like a lightning bolt. Okay, so we have connections deleting properly now. So next, I think we're going to do color for them. So when we click on this button here, we'll actually be able to have a color editor pop up. So let's get working on that. I think I do have a color like panel. Maybe I don't. Hold on. I thought I did. I mean, if not, I can definitely add one. So Sleepy House Soft. Common. Let's go to views. Yeah, I have a color picker. I don't think I'm doing anything with it right now, but it's totally a thing. So let's go ahead and open that up. And let's try to... You know what? I wonder if color picker should actually be a modal. Because I don't know, because I'm basically picturing something like this. Do I have something that has a color on it like this? The Unity color picker, basically, or your OS color picker. It's probably not going to be as effective as this. In fact, we'll probably just have we won't have this color drag field. We'll probably just have sliders. But for the time being, I mean, that's fine. Still, okay. Let's go over here and just start building this. So for now, I'll just treat it like a game view, but it'd be nice to be able to say, like, pop up, but then pop up in this position. Well, at any rate, let's go ahead and double. Color image. Really? Why did I make that a raw image? Oh, it's probably so I can have a texture? That doesn't really make sense. Well, either way. Oh, good. It's already using TextMesh Pro. Good, 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 good. I was a little worried that it wasn't going to be. All right, so let's go ahead and start making that. So we're going to make this a modal color picker. Then we will say, let's add a root. I'm going to have it stretch to fill up everything. We'll give it an image for a background. Make it a simple square. Make it be black with, I'm going to say 200% for alpha, or 200 for alpha, not 250. Call this root. And let's give it a size of 300. Might be a little too much. Let's do 250 and 400. That looks fine. All right. And then after that, let's go ahead and say we'll have these be controls. Let's have a section for our image. Image. And then let's have a section for buttons. So buttons. All right. And they're all going to be stretched just in very weird ways. So the image is only going to stretch from the top to, I'm going to say midway. That's probably fine. The controls will stretch from the bottom to midway. Oh, probably should have it. Probably should actually have it stretched before I change the anchors. Go halfway up with an offset of 50 from the bottom, and our buttons are just going to be anchored to the bottom with an offset of 0 and a height of 50. All right, so I know it looks visually not different at all, but we will fix that in a little bit. So controls, we're going to add a layout, vertical layout group, and we'll have control child size, width and height on there. We'll go ourselves spacing of 10. Let's go ahead and create a raw image here. We're going to have it stretch, give it an offset of 10 by 10 by 10 by 10. That looks fine. And then let's go ahead and say that's going to be our color image. We'll have controls. Let's go ahead and make this a object. We'll call it I guess we'll just call it R. We'll call it red. Red. And then let's give it a couple of things. So first we're going to do UI, TextMesh Pro text. It's going to be our label. Tell you what it is. All right. All right. Well, thank you for stopping by, Apollo. Always fun to talk with fellow text-based adventure creators. So, yeah, I do streaming on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 7 p.m. Eastern time, and then Saturdays at around 2. I wish I could stream more, but you know it's hard to do that when I can't get a ton done between streams. So, but either way, thank you for stopping by. It's always good to have people on the stream. All right, so we're gonna call this label. Change our font to be our 8-bit font. Let's shorten the font. So actually, you know what? Let's just have it say R. And that's actually kind of good enough. So we're going to have this, again, stretch to fill out, except it's only going to go basically to 0.25. Let's put the R in the middle of it. And next we're going to have a slider. So UI. Slider, and then we'll also have UI TextMesh Pro input field. So this is going to be red input. All right. We're not going to have placeholder text. Although, well, no, I guess we will. It's just going to be different. No, actually, we don't need it because it's always going to have a number in there. So. Okay. Switch over to 8-bit font. We're going to do kind of a weird thing. Let's get our... we'll do a color tint. Why not? Except the color tint is going to be our text. And the normal color is going to be white with a highlight color of red and a pressed color of, I don't know, like that, I guess. And a disabled color of, I guess, gray. That's probably fine. Fade duration, I like to do 0.2 seconds. No navigation setup. And let's set our default value to be 255. Content type is going to be integer number. And I think that's good. No rich text editing. Don't need it. Okay. All right. So this is going to need a little bit of work to make everything look right. We're going to have our solid sliced sprite that we will not fill the center in. And then we will change our text color to be white. Simple as that. Let's have it be in the center. And then we can actually adjust this. So again, we're going to do something similar where it stretches. And not just stretches, but is actually going to stretch from, I'm going to say 0.75. That looks fine. And things are going to be really tall for a little bit, because we're eventually going to duplicate this all out until the controls are, because we'll have RGB and I guess A sliders. So we'll need 4 sliders, and that will shorten our height a lot. Gotta stretch. All right. Now we gotta change our slider, which is going to behave very similarly. So let's see here. It would be really cool if I did something like, show you, hold on, color tint. If I could do this sort of thing, the gradient, but I don't think I can really, well, can I do that? No. Well, no, I can't. I don't think I have a gradient functionality that I could use. As cool as that would be, I don't think I can do it. So, although I maybe could, I want to try something. Make this that. Yeah, well, actually, no, that doesn't do anything. I wonder if I just had a gradient. No, well, okay. I just keep going, let me show you what I think might work. So, I guess for this, we're just going to do it in the root of the UI. And then we'll drag it out here. Okay. So let's go ahead and make 2 children objects. Or, I guess we'll make them images. So UI, image. Let's duplicate that. Drag it below the other image. Okay. So I'm going to make this. Do I have a gradient? I'm pretty sure that I have a gradient, but I might not have a gradient. I don't have a gradient. Oh, I do. Good. Okay. Let's do a gradient from the bottom up. Okay. So actually, this is going to go like this. So if I disable this, and I'm going to change this from sliced to simple. So we have a gradient going from full color to transparent. And we are going to make that image white, or let's make it red. Okay. Now let's have this overlay image. That's a solid color that apparently I made red instead of the other thing. Make this one red. Okay. Now we have a solid image that's going to be an overlay, so I'm going to lower its alpha to like 150. And then I'm going to make it blue. So it kind of works, actually. So I think if I just made basically my slider if I made the background of it this gradient effect, and I just changed the tints on the images that were used, so the gradient image would get one color and then the base image would get another. The base image, or the mask image, or no, what's it called? The multiplier image would have the color that it's going to be at the max end, and then the base image would be the color it's going to be when it's minimum, I think. I think we can do that. Okay. So I'm going to keep that open, actually. So this is going to be fun. So let's do 0.2. Actually, we're not going to do color tint at all. And this is where it's going to get fun. So again, I'm going to do solid square, not filled in the center. And while I'm here, I might as well do the anchoring stuff. So we're going to anchor from 0.25 to 0.75. All right. Our handle is basically not going to be a thing. I don't need a handle for this. Although I probably should have one. Just because other people are going to use this. So, let's see. Handle slide area. I will make it, instead of a knob, probably just a solid square. Make it a little bit easier to use. Let's go ahead and try filling this in. Wow, that's very tall. Okay. Now, I think, and I will be sad because I doubt this will actually work. So the fill rect just gets stretched, basically. So, for example, let's put this at like point whatever. So now our fill rect anchors, yeah, okay. Yep. So it's just doing an anchor offset to scale it, basically. Yep. Boo. Okay. Well, that's disappointing. It's expected, but I really wish that I could do some sort of stretched mask over these things, but it would be very, very cumbersome. But it might be possible, actually. Okay. Hold on. What would I do? So... No. Masks only work for their child objects, don't they? Dang it. Nope, that won't work. Oh, wait, actually, hold on. It's actually fine. I don't need this to be a sprite, because the handle is the important thing. Show you what I mean. The handle is what's important, and I just need to make sure that I tint my base images to be their correct values. Okay, I got you. Yeah, okay. I also might have had my my image stacking upside down. I think the gradient needs to be on top of a solid image. Otherwise, it could look wrong. So let's go ahead. So I don't need this image on here. And instead, what I'm going to do is, so if we fill this up, you'll notice that there's no longer a background, which again is fine and expected. Instead, we want to go here to this background. We're going to add a UI image. Okay, we're going to make this a solid color, make it a square. Where are you? Square. There we go. And I believe, so that's sliced probably 2 by 2. So let's give it an offset of 2 in every direction. Just to double check. Make it red. Make it red, and then make it semi-transparent all the way down. So yep, that looks about right. All right. So I'm going to make that one color. So this is going to be our red background. Image. And then we're going to duplicate this one. This will be our red foreground, or red gradient, I guess. Image. I don't know why I keep quoting Metalocalypse. I haven't watched that in a while. Anyway, so we're going to change this to be gradient right. Alright, it is not going to be sliced, it is going to be simple. And to test this, so here's what our background color would need to be. It would be white, and then our foreground color would be that sort of bluish. Like that. Alright. I think that's actually going to work. And finally, so I actually don't need this fill. Is anything referencing that? Oh, yeah. I don't think I need it. I will leave it for now. And that is a rect transform, right? Yep, good. So I can get, at the very least, I can get rid of these things. We'll see if I can get rid of the reference to fill entirely, because I don't think I really need it. Anyway, so let's see. And then if we make our value 0, so yep, it's that sort of azure to white that we were getting. So that's what we want. And okay, so next we need to make our handle different. This is going to be interesting. Do I want to make it like completely transparent? Like that, kind of. And then we can have another image at its top. So UI image that's going to be anchored to its top and centered. Let's give it pivot 1, 0. Let's give it a height of like 20. Let's get our image. Handle slide area. Why is it super tall? I don't understand why it's super tall. We're doing left and right. Our anchors aren't super weird, are they? No. Why is it so friggin' tall? Hold on. What the hell? Oh, okay. Bah. I think that's why. So this is actually wanting to be 0 and 1. Oh, wait, no. Nope. That was wrong. What is going on here? This is going to be something stupid, isn't it? I'm just not seeing it. Anchors, 0 to 1. I mean, that's fine, but it's still just, it's too tall. Why am I crazy? Why can't I figure this out? feel like my handle slide area, the top is just not right. Oh, there it is. Okay. Found you. There we go. So that's what was happening. Alright, so next we're going to have, I'm guessing, like a 10 offset and a 10 offset. And then our image here is going to have a pivot at 0, y. Do I have a triangle? I hope I have a triangle. I have that. That will work. It's kind of odd that I have that, but okay. Either way. I really hope that it wasn't using the fill to grab the slider. I bet it was doing that. I bet it was doing that. Well, we'll find out, won't we? So there's our indicator. Indicator. All right. So I think we've formatted it to be what we need it to be. So let's duplicate it 3 times. Okay, forgot a couple of things. I need to change my red input to be 10 from the top, 10 from the bottom, and let's do 0.775. And let's have our padding from the left be 10, or was it 5? Padding from the right, 5. It was 10. All right. Looking good, looking good, looking good. Let's go ahead and duplicate. There's one more. No, I can't do. All right, I don't need to do alpha. I think RGB values will be fine. Okay, so it's getting a little clipped, but I think that's fine. We'll just have to change it a little bit. So blue. Actually, no, it would be green, wouldn't it? RGB. So green. Not 7. Flatten these values out. And then B. Blue. 111. Alrighty then. And let's go ahead and start changing these names. I gotta call this red slider, don't I? Red slider. Green slider. Green input. Let's make the default color green. Pressed color like that. Let's make its label say G. And same for this. So B. Call it blue slider. And we'll call this blue input. Don't need blue input. Make it blue. Make it blue. Wow, blue is apparently really hard to tell that you've darkened it. Makes sense, I guess it's a deeper color. Okay. And we probably should default these to be 1. So let's make our max values 255 on these, actually. So there's that. 255. Set that out. Let's go ahead and try and make this whole numbers, I guess. Might as well. Alright. So we're almost there. Got a couple of quick things to do. Namely, let's go ahead and grab our color picker. Add this on here. Have our root. Don't need to worry about that. Let's make its order like 10. It's probably going to need to be in a lot of stuff. So our color image. Our red slider. Our green slider. Blue slider. I'm not going to do an alpha slider. And we'll have our red input. Green input. Blue input. Okay. And image texture. I really don't have one, so I'm probably just going to use solid. The idea there, I think, was that I wanted to try and set up some sort of color sampling, but I just never got around to it. Anyway. So the green slider looks like it needs to be purple on the bottom for its fill areas, for its backgrounds, I guess. Oh, I should probably call this green background image. And I forgot I need to add references to these. Green gradient image. So something more like that, I think. And so we're going to need those actually. Slider, background. This is going to be our blue background image, and then our blue gradient image. Alright. And that one, I guess, is going to be green. Like that. Or like that. By default. Oh, I just realized that I can cheat that, can't I? So yeah, as long as these values are maxed out, then that's what it's actually going to be. So I'll change this. Max that out, and there we go. Alright, so now those are correct. But I do need to change, in addition to that, I'm going to make our width 300, just to give us a little bit more breathing room. And I guess we'll make our height 450. Yeah, that feels a little bit better. Probably shorten this actually down to 250 again. Our sliders are looking a little chunky. Not sure how I feel about that. Because they're, I want to try and match them up to this, but it's not. It's a little chunky. That's all I'm saying. It's fine. Although I do need to change this to have a character limit of 3. So you can't input like 1,000 for the red value. Green input 3. Blue input 3. Alright, so real quick, let's go ahead and add some image references. So we're going to say public image red base image public image red gradient image. Alright, we're going to duplicate that a couple of times. Oops. So it's going to be green, blue, and blue. Alright, now we can start assigning that. Come on. Come on. I know you can do it. I know you can do it. There we go. So we're going to have red base image, red gradient image. So now we can get rid of that stuff. Green background image, green gradient image. Minimize that. Blue and blue. Alright. So now, come up here to color picker view. And I'm actually going to change this to be game modal. Peak definition. Oh, alright. Because all I really need to do is have a button, or 2 buttons at the bottom, one for confirm and one for cancel. Okay, hold on. So selected callback is selection callback. When we close, or when we hit confirm, I'm assuming we're going to invoke that. Yeah. Selected callback.invoke. Okay. That's fine. So we're going to change this to a color modal, or to a game modal. That's going to probably throw off a couple of these things, which is fine. Close cannot override inherited number. Oh. Really? Why did I do it that way? Because I'm stupid, that's why. So virtual void, and then virtual void close. Okay, so that means I gotta make a lot of this protected now, because of course I do. Generate buttons, recycle buttons, and one button click should be fine. Okay. I guess we'll make this actually virtual. That way I can override on button clicked. Yeah. Okay. Just kind of second guessing myself on what's going to end up happening here, but it might be okay. Let's go ahead and take a look at this stuff. Color picker view. Don't need to do anything here. I guess we'll just say base dot. Oh, crap. So this is going to be fun. Yeah, this is going to require a little bit of a reworking, isn't it? We can just say base. Oh, right. Right. I remember. All references. And the real question is there going to be something? Yep. There it is. Wonderful. Alright. I might just comment this out for now. Oh, jeez. All the errors. Ah, this is super fun. So get modal. Get modal. I'm going to do that real quick. Game modal. Close you now. Come back here. So is anything using you? Nope. Anything using you? Nope. Anything using you? Nope. Good. So let's go ahead down here and say override open. Jeez, that's painful. But I guess that's fair. This is actually just not going to be the exact same thing. This is going to be action color. And that means that we're going to have to look at this and copy it, pretty much. That's painful. Painful, painful, painful. But we'll have to do it, or deal with it. Okay. And selected callback. So we're going to go up here. We're going to have private system.action color color callback is equal to null. guess I'm going to have to do pretty much the exact same thing, except for instead of strings, it's going to be game modal views. So params game modal button. Is that right? That doesn't seem right. Hold on. Hold on. Game modal option. There we go. Same thing. Same thing. Okay. So we should be good. Let's go ahead and save this. Okay. Color image texture equals texture. Okay. So instead of string message, we're going to actually have just color, because we don't really have much of a message that needs to happen here. Get rid of you. Same thing down here. Again, get rid of you. Okay. And then we're going to do all this fun stuff. So we're going to generate buttons, do all that fun stuff. We're going to generate color. So we're going to say if alpha slider, and if alpha value. All right. Okay. Coffee. So this is setting up our slider values and whatnot. That means that once we have all of that set up, we're actually going to have to do the really fun thing, which is going to be, let me see. So we would say red base image dot color is equal to, oh, geez, this is gonna suck. New color. Can I actually hold on? Is equal to color. Can I just do red base image dot color dot r equals 0? I don't think I can. It's probably gonna say that I can't. Yeah. Boo. So I have to make a new color every time. Okay. So new color. And then, let's see, it would be 100F, correct? Or not 100F. It would be shite. Right. Okay, so it would just be 1F, then color dot G, color dot B, and I guess color dot A. Actually, no, that's just going to be 1F at all times. 1F. And then the red gradient color, so red gradient image color is going to be just 0 instead of 1. So everything's kind of going to be this weird mixing like this. So green, blue, and we're just going to be shifting the ones down, basically. So let's get rid of you, make you an R, and then 1F. Same thing, make you an R, 0F. And then finally, R, G, 1F, 1F. R, G, 0F, 1F. Okay. I think that will actually do everything that we want it to. So that means that, let's let that compile. compile first, I guess. All this fun setup for things that we haven't done yet. All right. Okay, so let's clear you. I guess the title probably could be like color here. Okay, so I gotta copy this and move it over there. Actually, no, I'm gonna be lazy. And by lazy, I mean actually not stupid. And I'm gonna say public, not public, private void refresh color, and then we're just gonna pull all these things into that. So refresh color. Very simple, much easier to work with. That way I don't have duplicate code everywhere. Okay, I think we're good. Maybe. I'm pretty sure we're good. So maybe. Okay. So color and color again. We didn't have any errors, which is good. No alpha value. I don't really need a confirm and cancel button anymore, so I can get rid of you. And I can come down here, get rid of you guys, and then not really have to worry about it, and just say override on button clicked, and then instead of based on button clicked, which is going to be very similar. So we're going to copy this, which is instead of selected callback, we're going to say colored callback. Crap. Okay, so it's going to be a string and a color, I guess. Oh, hold on. Let's see here. So, string, comma, color. So that way it can pass back the option that was clicked on as well as the color that is currently being previewed, basically. And I guess we would also want to call update image color after all this. Image color. Okay. And map color, I guess, is what we want. Wow, that worked out very well. Okay. So let's let that compile. And now we should be able to, I think, actually get it to pop up and function when we click on the buttons that we need. Okay. Oh, really? Really? Ah, right. I kind of need to do this, don't I? Gotta make sure those parameters match, otherwise it won't work. I'll say, why is my inspector not working? It's because there was an error. Compilation errors tend to make it so that the inspector doesn't update. Alright. So, come on, confirm button, cancel button, disappears. Ah! Alright, so for our button prefab, of course I'm not going to be able to just navigate to it, because that would be convenient. Let's go over here to UI, let's go to game modal, and there's the modal button. So we'll just use that. Button grid is going to be down here under buttons, which probably need to make sure that we actually do layout on that. So it's going to be layout, horizontal layout group, force, expand, width, and height, spacing of, I don't know, 5, that's probably enough. Okay, I think that's pretty much everything. I guess I should assign a message and a title label, even though I don't think I'm really going to need them. But, we'll leave it for now. Alright, so that's our color picker. So we can go ahead and disable our root and make this into a prefab. Go all the way up here. We're going to turn this into prefabs. Drag in modal color picker. Alright. And do I need anything else? No, I think we're good. So now, if I delete that, let's delete you. Hit save. And let's select our UI prefab. Make it another game modal. Why do you never show up when I search for you? Whatever. A few prefabs, I'm willing to bet that caused an error here. So get rid of you. Alright. Cool. So now we should be able to make a quick call. So let's go to our custom room view. Actually, no, I guess it would be our, let's see, let's close our math extensions, room exit node. Yep, on color clicked. We're going to say on confirm delete, private void on color selected string value color. So now we're actually going to be able to set up this interaction. So let's see here. I'm going to say UI.get modal color picker dot open, and this is where it's going to get a little crazy. We're going to do I guess I don't really have a good way of retrieving that. I kind of need that, don't I? Yeah, kind of do. So we're going to make public image color image, I guess. I don't know what else to do with it. Okay, so we're going to open color image dot color. On color selected for our callback. Title is going to be color, and the parameter will be confirm and cancel. Not really sure what else I would use here. All right. So on color selected, if value does not equal cancel, make these consts later. My cat wanting attention. Yes, I know, cat. I see you. Alright, so if it's not equal to cancel, which means that you hit confirm, then we are going to change our color image dot color to be the color. Ha! Okay. I think we can finally get this to work. So now we can test it and hope that it works. So before we can do that, I do have to assign that color image real quick. So I'm guessing it was just room exit node. Aha. Of course. Okay, drag this into the scene real quick. Let's grab our color button and put that in the color image. Hit apply here. Okay. Now hopefully everything will work. So let's go to shot. Alright. So we got our new room. Let's call it test 1. Close. Get our other new room. Call it test 2. Close. Add an exit over to test 2. Okay, so the modal did pop up, but we got a null reference error. Ah, okay. So that was a stupid thing on my fault, or my side. So I'm going to say if alpha slider, then if alpha value. Alright, so that should hopefully pick that up. I feel like this message fires prematurely, the whole compiler problem. That's kind of weird. Usually that message shows up whenever you make script changes and then you go back to Unity while it's playing, but it seems like it just doesn't now whenever it wants to. It's weird. So test 2, drag you off to the side. Test 3. Oh, the joys of making a custom game editor. Okay, there's our stuff. Seriously? Ah, jeez. No wonder. It's always the small things. Alpha slider, question mark. If so, otherwise just 1F. All the little things that just keep coming. Tripping me up so that I can't see it. Which is why it's going to be super satisfying when it actually does work. Alright. Come on. Third time's the charm. Pretty sure this is our third time, right? I'm counting this as the third time. So, test 1. Test 2. Add an exit over to test 2. Okay. So we got it almost working. It just got borked in its size for some reason. That's interesting. I don't... Huh. Oh, I know what it is. Yep. Okay. So we probably want this to be something like this. Yep. Its size delta got set to 0. Well, whatever. For now, it doesn't matter. All I want to do is just double check this to see if we can get this to work. Yes, good. Dang, our sliders are not... Oh, right, I haven't set it up to actually dynamically resize their... or re-evaluate their colors, have I? Either way, let's go ahead and just make this green, I guess. Like that. Hit confirm, and yes, it's green! Okay. Okay, that's good. That's good. So... I'm gonna make this private void refresh slider colors, colors, color, refresh slider colors, color. All right. So on update image color, I think we're going to just call at the end of that refresh slider colors, map color. So it's going to be a little crazy, but should look right, I hope. Not entirely sure what we're going to do about the game modal stuff. I guess I could cheat and have basically the parent for the modal be a full stretch, and then we can position the child wherever we want, but I don't know, it seems like a bit much. So, let's go ahead and get this working. So as long as we can get colors for the arrows working today, I'll be happy. Test 1, and I think we're very close to doing that. Test 2. Yeah, I know. Yes! It works! Ha ha! And the highlighting is nice too. I feel like the text could probably be made a little bit bigger, but um, yeah, so we have the dynamic sliders that react to what you're dragging. Ah, yes. That's awesome. Okay. It's also kind of funny that when it gets to be black, you can see the semi-transparent handle. Still, that's awesome. Okay. I actually wonder if we can just disable the handle, now that I think about it. Let's find out. Come up here, root, controls, red, handle. So let's just turn this one off. Oh yeah, nope. So we totally don't even need the image there. Well, that works just fine for me. So, that's super great. It's very satisfying too to have that dynamic changing. That's nice. All right. Anyway, so we can confirm that it will change that color, which means that we just need to make sure that we update the color of the connection that we are referencing. So I think we can actually do that within the node. So let's go to I guess a couple of things actually. Really quick. Before I forget, I am going to make that change to disable those slider things. Blue, green, red. Handle. For now, I'm just going to go ahead and disable them. Later on, I will actually probably remove them. But for now, being disabled is enough. Anyway, so now that we have that, let's go to our room exit node. On color selected, color equals this. All right. Now the real question is going to be, do I have a room ID? No. I don't think that this one actually knows how to reference its parent. Yeah, it doesn't know. That's fair. Either way. Well, oh, okay, hold on. On exit edit. Okay. So, I'll do on exit edit this. So if the color is changed, then we'll call on exit edit. And then over here in custom game room view, on exit edit, here we go. We're going to say room connection. Does it have a reference to its image? No. I suppose I should give it one. So let's go ahead and say up here at the top, public image, which I'm not even using Unity editor or using Unity engine.ui. Kind of an image. I guess we would just call it connection arrow for now. I'm not really sure what I would want to do with it. So we come back over here and we're going to say UI.get custom game map view dot get connection room info dot id index and room info dot exits dot count. What? Really? That no, that's not right. It's no target ID. Okay, I was just being stupid there. So that would be node.target ID and then room info dot exits index, I think is what I want, dot connection index. I think that's gonna work. So that's gonna get us the connection, and then we'll be able to say dot connection arrow dot color is equal to node dot color button, or not color button, color image dot color. Okay, so that was a very roundabout way of doing this, but let's see if it works. I'm hopeful, because I will be very happy if that's the case. Oh, I will be so overjoyed. All right, let's select our custom game map view. Look at our room connection, and we will just drag the image in there. Okay, hit save, and test. It's gonna work. I have to believe. New room, drag it off over here, call it whatever. New room, call it whatever. Alright, we're gonna add an exit, going to the second guy. And change our color. Ah, freaking right. That modal stuff's gonna be really annoying until I fix it. 350 and 400. Or I guess 450. It's just gonna kill me. So let's make it green-ish. Crap, there's a null reference. Where'd the null reference come from? What? Did I not assign? Oh, did I not assign? No, I definitely did. Yeah, I assigned the color image. I assigned you. What are you complaining about? Oh, let me guess. It doesn't actually have that yet. Oh, dang it. Is that seriously just gonna continue to happen? Yes! Okay, so it only messes up on the first time, I guess. It's probably because the connection doesn't actually exist yet, so that's a little messy, but we have color, which is good. So let's make it like a blue. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. So that's actually really nice. Let's add a second exit to the top. Close out. Oh my god. So yeah, it is. So it is gonna freak out the first couple of times, I guess, because I don't think it actually creates the connection until after you end editing the first time. So we might have to change that workflow a little bit. And clearly we need to reset the color here. Let's make this one red. Yay! It works! Let's make it more of a... I don't know, what's a good... like, I think purple. Purple could work. Close. And then let's change this one to like... Okay. Either way. That's super great. Yay. So, I'm gonna get a screenshot of that. We do have some quick things that we can fix there, though. To start, where's my room exit node? There should be a refresh up here, or an initialize, I suppose. Does room exit info have a color? Probably not. So I need to add color to this stuff, which is going to be fun. Let's go ahead and go to definition here. So we're going to have a public color. Oh, I guess I need to be using Unity Engine for this. Using Unity Engine. Public color. Connection color. Color white. Alrighty then. And we're going to say this dot connection color is equal to color dot white. Let's go over here, go to definition. We're going to add a color or exit color. So initializing is equal to true. Drop downs. And I guess when we do that, we're just going to say color image dot color is equal to info dot color connection color. Come back over here. I'm going to say connection color is equal to JSON.get. Oh, shite, get string value. Custom content utility dot exit underscore color, then dot to color. All right, and then we're gonna do last JSON.add custom content utility dot exit color connection color dot to string. Okay, so I think we're good for the most part. Before I forget, let's go back to our custom room view, and we're going to say room info. Oh, come on. Room info dot exits index dot connection color is equal to node dot color image dot color. Okay. That should force it to refresh. Oh yeah, it's going to import that 4K screenshot that I just took. So this should force it to refresh. Geez, come on, I get it. You want to import everything. Let's try this again. So this should force it to refresh. That way the button actually updates whenever we, go back and forth between the two. We'll do this one as like kitchen. Okay. And this one will be bedroom. All right. So let's add an exit to. Well, aren't you odd? Oh, yeah, that's kind of a problem now, isn't it? So I gotta move you. Equals color dot white. There we are. Right. Kind of can't access a value if it's null. So close. So close to getting this to work. Come on. Kitchen. Bedroom. Add an exit to the bedroom. Alright. I know. I gotta fix the stupid modal thing. It's gonna kill me. So we're gonna make it what, like 350 by 450. Seems to work. Cancel and close. Let's come back out here. Make this one blue. Let's make it red. Confirm. Close. Nice. We're gonna add an exit here. Going to the kitchen actually, and it did refresh at white, which is good. And let's make this one green. Confirm. Right, it's not going to work the first time. Jeez, that's going to drive me nuts. Confirm, close. All right, let's click back on here. Good, they're recycling and they're setting up correctly. Yes. All right. So we can now, let's add another room, call it basement. And let's make a connection here to the basement. Close out. And that one can just be white. So yes, now we can do color-coded connections. Just gonna go crazy here. Den. Add an exit to the bedroom. Add an exit to the den. So yeah, it's always gonna null out, it seems. Oh, that's interesting. The bedroom one is no longer red. I kind of wonder if that just had something to do with the null reference stuff. It very well could have. Let's make this like a bluish. Like that. Confirm. Let's make this one, I don't know, pink. Pink seems like a good one. Well, it seems like a good one, but clearly it is not. So, fuchsia. I don't know. Cool. So there we go. Let's get a screenshot of that. And I guess we should probably get a screenshot of like this. Let's get a screenshot, and I think we're good. I think that's a pretty good spot to stop for the day. You know, we got what I wanted to do done, which was assign our or add the ability to change the color of these connections. In the future, I might make it where you can click on the actual arrows themselves to change the color, but for now, I think it's fine to have these color indicators here. And yeah, so that's a pretty good place to stop. We got a lot done. Got our colors. Any announcements? None that I can think of. We should resume streaming at our usual time on Tuesday, so 7 p.m. We'll be polishing up our input modifiers, probably taking a look at sort of trying to optimize some of that stuff, but yeah. All right, I think that's a pretty good place to stop. So as always, I want to thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.